Hi guys, Mr. VG here. So it's June 2018 and that means only one thing. It's World Cup season. Go on, get rid of it! Come on, get rid of it! Go on, Jeff! Go on, Jeff! Go on, Jeff! Oh! Go on, Michael! Go on, Michael! Get in there! Yes!
Ricardo has taken off his gloves for this penalty. And to rise ourselves tonight, it's worked! What a save!
Come on, David James, you useless cunt!
What a story this will be! The goalkeeper saved and scored and won the game! Portugal are into the semi-finals!
Come on, he's not going to shoot from there, surely. Come on, get rid of it. This is a World Cup quarter-final.
Ronaldinho takes and David Seaman's cut off his line and Brazil take the lead. Ronaldinho has scored. David Seaman is caught cold. A surprise goal for the Brazilians.
Come on, Iceland have the population of Swindon.
It's
This is embarrassing. Roy, you haven't got a clue.
with the corner. It's towards Joe Harder, and if anything, he jumped up in front of him, leading him around. Score rich in right for England in a major tournament.
Fuck off! So these are my predictions for the World Cup 2018 in Russia. I'm not going to go into too much detail because we'll be here all day otherwise, and you won't believe me that I've been into the future and actually seen the results, so let's just keep it nice and short. So in Group A, there's the hosts Russia, Saudi Arabia, dark horses, Egypt and Uruguay. Now I've just written down a key player for each country who I think could make the difference between having a successful and unsuccessful tournament for their countries. Russia, Alan Jagoev is a world-class player on his day, but recent years he's been hit with lots of injuries and inconsistent form. Apart from that, they don't really have any standout players. Saudi Arabia, they've got a striker called Al Salawi who's been scoring for fun in the Saudi League. Now I know it's not a particularly competitive league compared to European leagues, but it's that unknown entity that other countries aren't going to know many players from the Saudi Arabian League, and the majority of their players are made up of that league, and I think Saudi Arabia could go far. Every tournament there is a dark horse that goes on to the round of 16, quarters and occasionally even the semi-finals, and I think this year it will be Saudi Arabia. So I am tipping them to go through this group in second place. There's Egypt as well, with their talisman Mo Salah. Apart from him, they don't really have any standout players, and I think for him to try and get Egypt through this group all by himself is just an ask too many. So I think Egypt are going to go home early with Russia, and that leaves Uruguay to top the group in what should be a comfortable group for them, and their key player, although there's lots of them, I think Luis Suarez, if he has a good tournament, they could go far. So that's Group A. Group B is Portugal, Spain, Morocco and Iran. I've got Spain to top the group, and their key player is going to be David De Gea, I believe, because World Cup games, international games, they're often cagey affairs, and I think it's going to come down to chances that are few and far between, and maybe even penalty shootouts in some of the rounds. And David De Gea is arguably the best goalkeeper in the world right now, and I do think David De Gea is going to have to use his ability as a world-class goalkeeper to help Spain progress through the rounds, especially when it gets into the knockout stages. I've got Portugal to go through second. They are the two obvious teams in this group. Morocco and Iran is too much really for them, I think. Portugal's key players, obviously Cristiano Ronaldo. He had quite a poor, by his standards, Champions League final against Liverpool, and I think this is probably his last major tournament where he'll still be in his prime. I think he's 32 now, so he's probably got a lot to prove in his own head that he's still got it, and he'll really want to win the World Cup, especially after winning the European Championships in 2016. So I think Portugal are going to go through second. Group C is France, Australia, Peru and Denmark. I've got France to top this group, with their key player being Antoine Griezmann. France have got a lot of exciting young attacking players. Griezmann at the forefront of that, really, and I think he could have a real impact on this tournament and has got to be in a shout of winning the Golden Boot. Australia haven't really got any great players at the moment. Aaron Moy, who's had a good season in the Premier League, he'll be looking to pull the strings, but I think at this level it might just be too much. Peru, their first tournament in a long time. They have a good playmaker for Orlando City called Yoshimar Yotun. I've been watching him a lot this year, watching the MLS, and he is a very capable player of splitting defences apart. But like Australia, this is just one step too far for Peru. And that just leaves Denmark to finish in second place. And their key player will be Christian Eriksen, I believe, who's just come off of a very good season with Spurs. Consistently good performances for the last 2 or 3 years. And I think if he's on his best game, they could go far in this tournament and surprise a few people. Group D, we have Argentina, Iceland, Croatia and Nigeria. Now this is quite an interesting group because apart from Argentina, who I think are sure favourites to top this group, backed by Lionel Messi, second place is up for grabs for all 3 of the others really. Now we saw Nigeria this past week just gone lose in a friendly to England, but they played really well in the second half, and I think if players like Victor Moses and Alex Iwobi are on their A game, they could go through. Iceland, they had a good Euro 2016, famously knocking England out. Gylfi Sigurdsson is their main man, but I don't think lightning will strike twice this year. I think they'll finish bottom of this group. And Croatia, I think, are just going to pip Nigeria to second place. Luka Modric pulling the strings in the middle. Group E, we have Brazil, Switzerland, Costa Rica and Serbia. Brazil, I think, will top the group. I think everyone is expecting that. Neymar's going to be a key player for them. Been scoring goals for fun this year, albeit in the French league. And just like Group D really, Group E, second place is up for grabs. Switzerland are going to need people like Shaqiri to be on the top of their game, but he's just been relegated with Stoke. Confidence is probably low, and there's not really many other standout players in that Swiss team. Costa Rica, a bit like Spain, they may have to call on their goalkeeper Keylor Navas if they're to get through this group to pull out some good stops in penalty shootouts and things like that, as these games often come down to in the last stages. But I don't think they're going to need him for that, because I think they are going to go home with Switzerland, leaving Serbia to go through in second place. And I think Dusan Tadic, if given the minutes, could be a key player for Serbia, as he tail end of last season he started putting in some really good performances for Southampton and was a major factor in them avoiding relegation to the Championship. Group F, we have Germany, Mexico, Sweden and South Korea. As everyone else is expecting, I think Germany will top the group. Their key player for me could be Timo Werner if he's given enough minutes. It's obviously a very in-depth squad Germany have, and no one's really guaranteed a place in their team, I suppose. But given his season he's just had in the Bundesliga, I think Timo Werner could compete with someone like Griezmann for the Golden Boot in this tournament. Germany are brilliant tournament teams. They rarely don't make a semi-final, so given enough minutes, he should get a few goals in this tournament. I've put Germany to go through top. Now Mexico, I think, are going to come in second in this group. Sweden, since losing the likes of Ibrahimovic, don't have anyone really of that sort of star power or ability. So I think they're going to go home early. Along with South Korea, who do have Son from Spurs, who is right on the cusp of becoming a world-class player, in my opinion. But apart from him, they are a very average side, and that it's just not enough to finish above teams like Germany or Mexico. So my 1-2 in Group F is Germany, Mexico. Group G, England's group, Belgium, Panama, Tunisia and England. I think Belgium are going to top the group. I think a lot of people are coming to that conclusion, and a key player for them will be Eden Hazard. Panama, I think, to be honest, they're just really happy they've even made it to the World Cup. It's the first time in their history, I think. They managed to beat Costa Rica, I believe it was, which sent the USA out of the World Cup for the first time since '86, I think. So Panama are just happy to be there. Their key players, Roman Torres, who scored the goal that sent them through to the World Cup, centre-back from Seattle Sounders. He'll need to be at the top of his game if they're going to even get a single point from this group, because Tunisia are no pushovers now. I think they're the top rated African team in the World Cup this year, and they have great players on the ball like Wabi Kazri, who can cause damage to any team given time on the ball. But Panama and Tunisia, I think, are going to go home early, and England will take second spot as predicted. England have got a really young squad this year. No one's really guaranteed places in the team. Personally, I'd like to see Marcus Rashford given a lot of minutes, but I can't see him being used as much more than an impact sub. But still saying that, I think he could be England's key player, because when he does come on, he makes things happen. And we all know how England like to leave things late and dramatic in tournaments. So he could prove to be key. And that just leaves Group H. Poland, Senegal, Colombia and Japan. Now this group is wide open. I've gone for a couple of surprises here. I think Senegal are going to top the group. A bit like with Saudi Arabia, you do get a few surprises. You get like favourites going home early, and you get some dark horses going through to the latter stages. I think Senegal is one of those teams this year. Sadio Mane is a key player for them. I think give him the ball and anything can happen really. He's an unpredictable player, and he's proved it this season playing at the highest level in club football, scoring a goal in the Champions League final, so you can't really ask more than that. I think they're going to top the group. Poland, I think, will finish second. Robert Lewandowski obviously is a proven goal scorer year after year, and that leaves Colombia and Japan going home. Colombia, a lot of people will tip them to go through this group, and on paper they probably are the best team in this group, but due to the nature of the World Cup, there's always a few surprises. I'm taking Senegal through. Falcao, I think, is going to be a key player for Colombia, even though he's in sort of twilight years of his career now. He missed the 2014 World Cup through injury, and he knows this is probably his last chance, so I think he's going to go out there with a lot to prove, a bit like Cristiano Ronaldo, but we'll have to wait and see if that's enough to get them through the group, but I don't think it will. And Japan, very organised, good team. They don't have any standout players as such. They do have a winger called Inui, who I think will be their best player, but yeah, still won't be enough to get them through the group. I think they're going home bottom. So that's all the groups. Okay, so the first round of 16 match I've got down as France versus Croatia. I think France are going to go through in this. I think they've just got too much attacking wise for Croatia to handle. France have got a lot of young, fast players, and it's going to be too much for Croatia's ageing backline to handle, especially if it goes into extra time. You're going to need stamina and pace a lot more than in the regular 90 minutes, and that may come into play here. The second round of 16 game, Uruguay against Portugal. I think Uruguay will go through in here, just due to man for man all over the pitch, with the exception of Ronaldo. I think Uruguay are the better team. Maybe 1-0 Uruguay, something like that. There won't be much in it. So that sets up the quarter-final there, France against Uruguay. The next lot of round of 16 games is Brazil versus Mexico. These teams have met obviously loads of times before in South America. I think Brazil are going to be too strong there, and they'll go through there. And their opponents will be the winner of Belgium versus Poland. And I think Belgium, a bit like the Uruguay-Portugal game, man for man all over the pitch. Belgium, very strong. Everyone's going on about this being their golden generation. I think if they're ever going to win a World Cup, this year is their best chance. So that will be Brazil versus Belgium for that quarterfinal. Next up is Spain versus what not many people will think will even get this far, Saudi Arabia. And I'm actually going for a shock Saudi Arabia win. A bit like I said in the group stages, not many of these teams are going to know anything about the Saudi Arabian players due to the fact that they play in their own domestic leagues. And having seen a bit of it myself, I know that they have a lot of really fast wingers and strikers, and I'm just going for an upset there. I don't know why, it's just a hunch. So Spain going out in the round of 16. And Saudi Arabia's opponents in the quarterfinal there is a winner of Argentina-Denmark, and I think Argentina are going to go through there. Pretty straightforward. And that leaves the last bracket, which is Germany against Serbia. I think Germany will go through there. You'll find out later on in this video. And they'll be against the winner of Senegal against England. And I think England will go through, setting up another World Cup classic against their old rivals Germany in the quarterfinals. So that's the quarterfinals sorted. Now France, Uruguay. I think France are going to go through that. I think, just like Croatia, they've just got too much in the attacking positions. Uruguay won't be able to handle the pace and the youth. So France are going through there. Brazil, Belgium. I think Belgium are actually going to do this. This is going to be their best shot, as I said, up to date and possibly forever to win a major tournament. So I think they're going to go through here and really think they've got a chance, setting up a semi-final with France. Two great, young, pacey, technical teams. Saudi Arabia, Argentina. I think it's going to be the end of the line for Saudi Arabia there. They've done their country proud, made it to the last 8, defied all the odds, but I think Argentina are going to be too strong there. Messi's just going to carve them open and maybe score a hat-trick. And the last quarter-final, Germany, England. You can't really say anything else other than Germany to beat England on penalties, can you? So that'll be Argentina-Germany semi-final. So the first semi-final, we've got France, Belgium. I think France are going to go through in that. Close game, maybe even go to penalties. But the quality of their side, I think they're going to do it and they're going to get to the final, which is probably no less than they're expecting right now, a week before the tournament starts. And in the second semi-final, I think Germany are going to beat Argentina, setting up a France-Germany final featuring the 2 top scoring strikers in the tournament. Here is my prediction: Griezmann versus Werner. And the final itself, I think Germany are going to do it. Reason being is, now they've got Timo Werner, they actually have an out-and-out goal-scoring striker in their team. And when you think back to 2014, they won the World Cup without really having an out-and-out goal scorer. So they're in a much stronger position than 4 years ago, I feel. So I think they're going to do it. And that is my World Cup predictions. Check back at the end of the tournament to see how right I was about all these matches. But I know every single one is correct because I've actually been to the future and watched it all. Okay, goodbye.